How's it going, everybody? My name's Sugarcat, and welcome to my very first Draw My Life. I was never quite sure exactly when I was going to do this or how much I want to reveal, but we're here now. Let's get this over with and you guys can learn some things about me, and I'll try not to be too shy and embarrassed. I grew up in the frigid, frozen north of Canada. In this place, it looks like a fish on the right-hand side. It's not that frozen. It's all a lie. It is 1,000 degrees above right now, and I am sweating. It is crazy hot. It was a good life. I was born on Christmas Eve, and it was snowing, and it was a Wednesday, and that's pretty much all I know. But I grew up in the country, a little bit outside the city, maybe like 20 minutes outside the city. And life started off pretty good, except for the fact that I was born incredibly early. February 14th was my due date. Yeah, I know, Valentine's Day. I'm all about the romance. But I came out on Christmas Eve. And back then, I was way too sick and I almost died a few times, but thankfully the doctors kept me going and it was awesome. Growing up, I never really had a great relationship with my dad, and like I said, back then he worked a lot. He did a lot of shift work, a lot of 12-hour shifts, a lot of 16-hour shifts, and I understand that fully now, but as a wee little lad, I didn't quite understand what was going on. So my mother and my grandmother tended to raise me and take me out and do things with me and do the childish things that kids should do. One day when I was 10, my father and I woke up that day and I didn't have a mom anymore. She decided to kind of go out and do her own thing in life and didn't really want to be with us anymore. So my dad was kind of forced to raise me, and it was quite an experience for him because he had to keep doing his work while raising me. And I respect him tremendously for that because I know how hard it was for him now, and it couldn't have been easy. But he had a lot of help from my aunt and my uncle and my cousin who helped raise me. When I was a bit older, around 13 or 14, my mom and my dad both got remarried. And my dad all of a sudden had 2 more kids to raise along with me, and he had another daughter as well. And my mother got remarried again, and I didn't really get along with my dad's new wife. We didn't quite click. I didn't have a lot in common with her, and my mother pretty much convinced me to write him out of my life entirely. So I did, and I regret that every day of my life, walking out on him like that. And so I spent the next probably 7 years with my mom, having no contact with my dad. When I was 17, I noticed a pain in my shoulder that I thought was a pulled shoulder, but it just kept getting worse and worse and worse, and I started having trouble breathing. So I went into the hospital that morning, and they took some x-rays and told me that I had a collapsed lung. So that began a 2-month stay in the hospital, where they had to go in and repair my lung and staple it shut. And sorry for getting gross, but it was another time when I almost died. And later on in life, I had to get many more surgeries and many more medical procedures that tried to take me out, but I'm still here and I'm tough. After all that happened, I started high school, where I met my first girlfriend. And we were together for 2 years, I believe, and that didn't work out after time. We kind of just grew apart. And I had a second girlfriend after that, and a third girlfriend after that, and none of that seemed to work. And it was around the age of 19 where I decided that I didn't need anything in my life. I didn't need family, I didn't need friends. All I wanted was freedom and to get away from everything. I had become incredibly depressed and incredibly anxious, and I couldn't handle, I don't want to say existing because that sounds suicidal, but I didn't know how to fit in with society. I wasn't fitting in with any social norms. I didn't get along with anybody. I didn't quite know how to fit in. So I moved to a place called Antigonish, which is about a 4-hour drive from the city I grew up in, where I knew a few people and I proceeded to sleep on their couch for the next 3 years. I had become poor. I had homelessness. I had no job, no family, no friends, and no hope. Well, at some point in times, I really was sleeping on benches and under benches during snowstorms to stay out of storms. I stayed in homeless shelters. I was incredibly unhealthy. I didn't really know what to do, though. I didn't know who to turn to. I didn't have any family to turn to. I just kind of self-rebelled and self-destructed, and I didn't really know what path my life was going on. Flash forward to 2006. Where I met a girl in a city that was about 2 hours south of Antigonish. And we started dating. Well, I was very persistent, and I never really left because I really liked this girl and I liked her attitude because she wasn't like anybody else. She forced me to be something that I wasn't, which sounds bad, but for me, it was what I needed. I needed to be shown that there was a life beyond that self-destructiveness that I had found. And she taught me how to be responsible and how to care about myself and how to put myself first instead of everybody else. And in 2011, I asked her to marry me, and she did. In 2013, us, along with two really good friends who were also married, decided to leave everything we had behind. We left our apartments, we left our jobs, and we left the country. We went to Europe. Well, we started in Iceland, and then we went to Europe on something called a Eurail Pass, where we proceeded to spend the next 4 months walking around Europe. And we eventually hit 23 countries. And we stayed in no hotels and no hostels, at least for the very start of it. And we just slept on train floors and benches, and it was an incredible experience. We lived off of $5 a day for food. And it was, I can't even describe how much it changed my life to get out there and see the world and see what was going on and just see the changes. And the world is a very beautiful place if you allow it to show you. And I can't recommend it enough. I implore all of you, if you have an opportunity or desire to go see the world, do it. Do it while you can, for sure. Which brings me to this date, August 6th, 2017. Because we found out last November a pretty big change, and that this is a year when our family becomes a little bit bigger. Baby Cat is on the way. So that's the big announcement. He's due in 5 weeks, and I've been holding this inside, not knowing how to tell you guys. I kind of wanted to make it special. So here we are, and I hope that I can include him in my streaming, in my videos, and that you guys will get to meet him. Who knows? Maybe he'll be a bigger YouTuber than I will be someday. YouTube has shown me so much about my life, and about me conquering my anxiety and my depression. And it's given me my excitement and my happiness back. And as of right now, 1 year and a bit later, we stand at 733 subs, which is incredible. You guys have literally changed my life, and I have no idea how to thank you so much. And no matter what, I want you guys to know that I love all you guys. You're all amazing. I care about all of you. Thank you for sticking through with me and bearing with me through all the crap that I go through all the time. And sometimes I don't put videos up. But I try my best, and I really do care, and I know you guys do too. So thank you guys, keep being awesome, and I will see all of you in the next video.